Even though this filter won't pick up from far away, I must still put it on. Okay, and I'm going live on Instagram because I need 50 subscribers to YouTube. So this is Nova Sense 101 on YouTube is the channel. Today we're doing Sunday school, Sunday learning. And I will try to speak up so I could be heard. That's not really a problem. I got a big voice. Okay. Go ahead and sit down there and just make sure that, you know, it doesn't knock over and stuff like that. Okay, so who remembers when we did mudras? No, not when, but okay. So the three M's that I like to say are essential in studies. Good, that's a mudra. Are mudras, mantras, and mandalas. We have covered before, which we might actually end up doing again, so that way we can put it on our new little YouTube channel. Mudras and mandalas. Who remembers what a mandala is? The hands? Nope. What is the hands? Mudras. Yes. Mudras is hand, energetic points connecting to do different, like centering things throughout the body, right? Mandalas, we learned about how they, you know, spent all the time making the mandalas. Remember, with the different sand, and first they would have to sit there and draw it out with the perfect alignments, and then they would mix it all together after they did all that. Mix it all together and then go and release it where? A river or something, yes, running water. So that way it goes back into the life source. Leave the warthog alone. Okay, so today, this is also kind of, so we learned last week about affirmations, the power of affirmations with manifesting and meditation, and just how strong our words are with affirmations, right? Mm-hmm. So a mantra is something like an affirmation. Affirmations probably came from mantras. But essentially, mudras, mantras, and mandalas are three powerful things you should be aware of in having enlightenment and powerful manifestation, being a master manifester of your own life. So, we're going to find something on YouTube. None of this is pre-scripted. Mantra. See if they have one for kids. Mantra for... Let's see, what is a mantra? So this, it says Sadhguru, what chanting a mantra can do to you on YouTube. What do you remember? What is an affirmation?
It was homemade, delicious, and sun-sweetened Italian tomatoes. When you put only real ingredients in, only delicious comes out.
Huh?
So manja. Delicious is always better when shared.
Health, wealth,
Rayo's
success,
homemade.
and happiness is
Make every day
an affirmation.
delicious.
What is another affirmation?
Wealth. No.
Darian?
Health.
An affirmation. She already said health, wealth, success, and happiness. Yes, Emily. Okay, you're being silly. It's not just one word though, right? When we're listening to positive affirmations in the morning, what is it saying? What is some of them saying that we listen to? I am a money magnet. I am lucky. Luck finds me, right? It's not just a word. It is a sentence. It is a proclamation of with convincingness of ourselves to manifest because of the frequency of our words, right? We're putting it out there. We're affirming it. We're making it so. We are manifesting it. We are aligning it to ourselves. It is an affirmation. So, a mantra really comes from, just like everything else, mudras, or not everything else, but in those 3 M's, the mudras, the mantras, and the mandalas seem to branch from like Hinduism, where, you know, you get a lot of the monks, Indian, red dot, not feather, culture tends to have more experience in this. So the dialect could be in Hindi, or I don't know all the dialects of there, but so this one is what chanting a mantra can do to you.
Voice sounds so much more important than a word, which is a meaning. If you touch the sound, you're touching creation. If you touch a word, you're just going into the psychological structure of human beings. Do not discount the power of the sound, it has influence on everything. Mantra is a combination. You get the right combination right, it will open up a doorway into creation.
Is it okay to chant mantras without knowing the meaning?
What do you think that answer is going to be?
No.
Is it okay to chant mantras without knowing the meaning? No. Why do you guys think no? Brooklyn, why would you think no? Give just a guess. If you were in debate, because debate, you just get a topic and you have to debate it like a lawyer, right? It doesn't mean you necessarily agree with it. But to expand your mind, you are told it is not okay to chant mantras without knowing the meaning. Give me an argument to prove that. Just like we did this in your homework recently. Remember? Giving an argument for something. Stop biting your nails or I'm not doing them. Speak. Speak up. Why are you whispering? You never whisper when you're yelling around the house all the time, yelling at Evelyn or Mila. I don't know why you quiet now. There's nobody watching. This is on my Instagram small account. It's going to go on YouTube, sure, but it isn't like, there's nobody, there's not an audience right now hearing you. There's nothing. You shy for what? Okay, well, I don't need you to be worried about the people. I need you to be worried about your brain. Do you need to sit up? No. Okay, then speak. What is the question?
Is it okay to mantra without
Speak up.
Is it okay to know the mantra?
Speak up.
Is it okay to know the mantra without knowing, like doing mantra without knowing what it does? What it is?
Okay, Darian, argue the fact. Or argue the perspective. It's not a fact.
Because if you didn't know the meaning, you'd just be saying the word instead of like trying to connect with it, like the meaning of it.
Connect with it. So you meaning you would have your will wouldn't have any intent because you don't even know where it's saying, basically. I like that perspective. Evelyn, do you agree or disagree with what Darian said? Do you agree? That's kind of what you thought too? Is that what, or would you like to add anything onto that? That's what you thought? Can you put your socks on, please? Thank you.
Mantras have no meaning. See, there are two dimensions to a mantra. Mantras are not supposed to have any meanings in the tradition.
Let me get more coffee.
There are different types of mantras. Unfortunately, the mantras which are normally known, they have given them meanings so that people can involve. Because there are lots of idiotic people who cannot involve with anything that's meaningless. That is why they miss the sunrise, the sunset, the moon, the full moon, everything they miss because it's meaningless. What is the meaning of a full moon? There is no meaning. Only if you're in love it means a lot. Otherwise, what is it? Nothing. It's not meaningful means. It is not useful. So, all the idiots on the planet will do only meaningful things. Yes. Because they have no intelligence to recognize life and the many facets of life. It is not because you have attached a stupid meaning to it, it exists. It exists beyond you. It existed before you, it will exist beyond you. It is not because you give it a meaning, it's become useful or not useful. So the stupid in the world will do meaningful things. They may be intellectual, but life stupid. They have no life sense. If you have life sense, you will see.
Do you hear what he said? You might feel like he's insulting people, but he's just got a funny sense of words. But he said that they're stupid. He said people are stupid. He said they might be intellectual, but when it comes to life, they're stupid. That's where you need a balance of things, where everything cannot just be logical, by the book, reason and stuff. Some things are creation, right? It's like right and left hand of things, right? I like to think also that the mantra, it's kind of like, it reminds me of like when I'm making music, how you can see the waves of the sound waves on the screen. And when you do different things with your voice, it'll turn, you know, the sound wave can curve even, or it can, you know, it makes these different shapes and stuff like that, you know. And then you think of shapes and the patterns that we get, like with the sound and water and things like that. So that's what makes me feel like it's maybe not even about what you're saying, but how you're saying it, the tones that you're projecting out, right? And maybe certain letters and combinations create certain tones. So in some sense, it's just creating a vibration which resonates, just like everything has vibration, right, in the world, or in creation, that it somehow aligns with things. Sometimes, like even when people are like fighting, like kung fu and stuff, you notice that they, to get a more powerful like strike, they use their tones, huh, yeah, huh, you know what I mean? Because it's just somehow is creating more power just by, but they're not saying that huh and yeah has a meaning, right? They're not saying it because huh means strong and yeah means get 'em, you know. It's just, it's just natural. It just amplifies, right? It magnifies by definition. But yeah, so let's see what else he's got to talk about. And he's not just talking, so he's not talking crap about people saying that they're idiots and they're stupid, but he's saying that people, we have grown so much into needing order to understand things, that by not putting a reason, this is why this is happening and this and this and that, without having like some kind of structural pamphlet of what everything is for, that people would just get lost like ants out of line, like, oh, where's the line back? I need to get back to the line. You know, so he's saying that people are idiots to life, when life, just like everything could be natural, and then, you know, the elements can happen and shift life as you know it, you know what I mean? That's what life is. That's nature, you know. So that's not having an intent, because you can build your house and build your, you know, whatever, but you don't expect elements to come in and shake things around, because then it's like, actually I heard somebody talk about how, like with OCD, you know, that just like, so I think you put all your pencils in a row, you know, and they have to be perfect. Somebody comes in and moves one of your pencils like that, and you're like, oh, what do I do? You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Like, you think that it has to be order, but maybe somebody hits the desk, and then all your pencils that would have rolled off because this pencil is turned sideways, it actually stops those other pencils from rolling off of your desk. Do you see what I'm saying? You can't, as much as you try to control everything, we're not meant to just control everything logically. Life needs room for creation and for the elements to intervene. Oh, that might be your cup.
Most meaningless things which really set you on fire, isn't it so? No? So they created two kinds of mantras. One larger set of mantras which have no meaning, just pure sound. You will see this in our music also. The Yaksha program happened just now, and many of our people who are looking for meanings were thoroughly bored because they're doing alap for 40 minutes. Say something. Say at least Shiva Shambhu something. No, they are not getting the point because it's about the sound. Why sound so much more important than a word which is a meaning? Meanings are made up in human minds. Sound is the essence of creation. If you touch the sound, you're touching creation. If you touch a word, you're just going into the psychological structure of human beings. The psychological structure of human beings is essentially a certain kind of madness. We can enjoy it, we can use it, but essentially it's a certain kind of illusory setup. Sound is a fundamental aspect of creation. If you have mastery over sound, you have mastery over creation itself in a certain way, because creation is just a complex amalgamation of sounds. It's the blueprint of creation.
Okay, you know how, so he said that there are two kinds of mantras. What were the two kinds of mantras? One with meaning and one without meaning. So, like I said, like obviously English language is the most, like we don't use, if you think of a guitar, how you strum the strings of it to get those different resonance, and you can really hear the vibrations and stuff. You think of a lot of languages, they come from, they're spoken more deep, and they come from the throat and from the chest, and it has more vibratory tones, and those are more ancient languages, right? English, if you talk, it's just like, it's the harmonics of the English language is literally just like from up here, it's like all just mouth. It's not really strumming, whatever, stringing our vocal cords, right? Because that's what we have, is cords in our throat, right? The vocal cords. But, so a lot of things that we have stemmed from older languages, right? Older dialects. So affirmations, we say here, you know, in English, I am lucky, I am this. In a sense, it is a mantra, right?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of mantra is it?
One with meaning? Yeah.
I can't hear you.
One with meaning.
One with meaning. Why?
Because we're doing it to
Attract something.
impact the future, say our future self.
To attract our future self, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at you. Maybe not attract our future self, but align with our future self or higher self, because our future self is based on our will and our decisions, right? So our future self may not be our highest self based on our actions and our choices, but it could be our to attract with our higher self, right? Because obviously you're not going to affirm negative things. If you're taking time to use affirmations, you want positive changes. You want to align with higher resonance in your life.
But meanings are human things. You know, the same words
You want me to throw the tea back away?
mean different things in different languages, even in India.
Steve, do you have 60 seconds?
The same word means different things because it's all made up. The sound is not made up. Sound is part of the creation. Sound is part of the existence. Sound is part of making the creation happen. Right now, the whole creation is reverberating in a certain way. You cannot hear it, it doesn't matter. But the words and meanings are a human making. It is meaningful only as a conspiracy. When I say conspiracy, do you hear what the cricket…
Okay, so for a second, can you all do a without meaning mantra? You're worried more about the mudra than the mantra. You don't need to do nothing with your hands. Just give a without meaning mantra. Darian's using which is, I feel like, somewhere in between, but Darian has a Capricorn moon sign, so he tends to try to find logic behind things naturally. Just any sound that kind of is becoming natural to you. Like what sound you just want to make. Brooklyn is very good at mantras.
So keep cut.
You're okay. Very good.
That's meaning behind it.
That's okay. Darian's going for this more of a deep resonance, but see, and the thing that you don't realize is like that each thing that comes natural to you, your body, in a way, that's like how when we talk about like when you want to eat something, like when Auntie was craving green, and I was like, well, maybe next you're gonna crave orange, but you know, like, well, actually she was listing things, and I was like, basically you're craving the color green, and she thought it was funny, but in a way I wasn't kidding. You know, she wanted her body was saying that, you know, or like when you make a lemon water, and sometimes you just want to down the whole thing, but sometimes you don't even want to drink it because your body naturally is going to, it wants the alignment of like acidic and alkaline, you know, same with eating, like just eating anything or craving something, your body naturally, it knows what it desires. So with the mantra, without meaning mantra, you're craving, your body, certain harmonics are going to set patterns in, because we're made up of water, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to realize that those sound are doing patterns based on whatever vibration you use. So whatever sound you naturally just want to make, it's harmonizing your body for what it is desiring.
He's saying? What is he saying? You don't know, but they're talking. They're also like you. Some of them are just making sound, just doing all out. Just sound, simply enjoying the sound. Enjoying the creation in one sense means enjoying the sound of it. If you don't have a keenness to listen, if you don't have a keenness to pay attention, you cannot enjoy any aspect of creation, actually. You will only enjoy psychological patterns in your head. So this is the reason why most human beings want to speak. Most of the time they want to be talking. Not because they have something to say, because they have to find meaning. Simply, either silence or sound, both are too overwhelming. That is why when we say spiritual process, first thing is silence. If you are psychologically very stable, you may say, okay, 30 days silence, 60 days silence. If you are psychologically fragile, you say, okay, 3 days. 3 days also people go crazy, will say, okay, half a day silence up to noon.
You know, that reminds me, your uncle Andrew used to tell me that because when I would meditate and stuff like that. But he said that to him the silence is so loud that he would go crazy. He can't sit in his own mind or sit even in a room with everything off. Me, I can sit in my car with nothing on, or sit right here with nothing on and be fine, right? But some people, and I'm not sure why, it's probably just a journey that we all have to kind of develop, you know. But what would you say? Would you be able to sit in a silent room?
Yes.
All of you? Yes, yes, yes.
Silence, after that you
Hold on real
blabber.
quick.
They usually make it up.
Oh, right there. Will you hand me the turmeric? I should have drank some turmeric tea today, but I started coughing. No, don't get a little steeper. A snack? No, you just have breakfast. After. We're not going to do that long of a Sunday lesson today because he already has a lot of math to do. But I think we're on a good track. Good track. So after, we'll eat a snack, okay? I want chips and salsa.
Afternoon.
I didn't eat breakfast.
Those of you who talk a lot, you know, meaning is meaningless. You can simply talk. A whole lot of people are experts. They can simply speak without any meaning. They have understood the importance of sound. They can go on talking without making any meaning. Now, if you were a bird, we would pardon you. If you were this one, you would be okay. Or if you're a musician, you would be okay to make meaningless sounds. If you're speaking, you're expected to make some meaning. So mantra is not to be spoken, it is to be chanted. Chanting means chant is of the sound, not of the meaning. Meaning is of speech, meaning is of the word, written word and spoken word. Meaning does not belong to a chant. A chant is simply a sound, a reverberation. So if you do not know the meaning, it's the best way to chant, if you ask me. Simply, absolutely involved with the sound and saying it. But first of all, what you are uttering, is it a mantra?
Can you say that we learned something? Because originally, everybody kind of thought the opposite, right?
Or is it a bhajan? Or is it a sankirtan? You must look at it. If it's a mantra, mantra means
Meaning is meaningless because it's just like the same thing. It can provide order, right? But with the influence of elements, it can come and shake up anything. It's not saying that it's purposeless, or useless. It's saying that it's meaningless because there's just other things that basically even life, like you can know everything about how to go about life and have a successful life all the way to the day you die and have a long old life with a long ass white beard like this guy, right? But at the end of it all, what is the meaning? Does any of us know? No. So even if you live, it's not saying to live without meaning, right? But at the same time, meaning is still meaningless. But that's where you get that, you can't throw yourself off track. Oh, it's pointless for me to do anything because it's all just meaningless anyways. You're here living this experience and living this life. So having an order and having a sense of it is good, but that's just like in Buddhism. Do you know the story of the Buddha?
I learned about it in history. I'll have it in my notes in the back.
Okay, but without your notes, can you tell me what was the lesson that Buddha went through?
I think we learned who was Buddha. We learned what Buddha searched for.
What did he search for?
He searched for not these. He searched for life, death, and sickness.
Okay, and how did he find that?
He had traveled out of his kingdom without his guards.
And did what at first?
At first, he meditated underneath the tree.
Okay. Brooklyn, have you learned about the Buddha story?
Because Buddha in his past life was actually...
I'm actually not going to put it on a video, but so what? You're right, but so when Buddha left his one life as basically as a prince, as a prince that had everything, the top of the top tier, right? And what he learned, so he left and he gave everything, and he became like a beggar on the street with nothing, right? Nothing at all. And then he realized that wasn't so good either, right? So you can have absolutely everything and absolutely nothing, but the harmony exists somewhere in the middle. You understand? What were we talking about? That was the point of burning. Was the point of
that was
meaningless. Oh yeah, so it's good to live life with meaning, but you can live life with meaning, and you can live it without any meaning. But to understand that some things are just beyond our comprehension, but you still do things in a sense of purpose, that's kind of the existing between, right? That's why meaning is still meaningless, right? And you exist in between.
Pure sound. It need not have any meanings. You can give it whatever meaning you want to start with, because without meaning you cannot be involved. But once you know how to be involved, you should not give it any meaning. Om Namah Shivaya does not mean you go on imagining one man sitting there on top of a mountain with something happening around him. No. Initially, if that's the only way you can be involved, you can look at the Sivakasi picture. Okay? Once you know how to be involved with the sound, you get rid of the man. He's not needed. He's a disturbance. I'm telling people in Samyama, they're chanting. Their question is, if Shiva comes, I'm falling so many times, if he comes, just ignore him. Because that's not the thing about mantra. The mantra is that You involve yourself in the sound because you yourself, your physical thing is a certain pattern of sound. Right now you're trying to make yourself into a different pattern of sound so that this sound becomes an access point to the larger sound which you call as the cosmos. A larger arrangement of sounds is cosmic in nature. Now you use a certain key sounds in a particular arrangement, you know. In the safes, the locks are called a combination lock. So you have to just get it right for it to open. So mantra is a combination. You get the right combination right, it will open up a doorway into creation. It is not the meaning. Whatever meaning you give it, however high or low you think the meaning.
That's my ego showing. Did I say that though? By just experimenting with the sounds, that maybe they can make certain combinations that will amplify and magnify your own alignments by just doing what comes naturally to you, right? It's like when you play the keyboard, you mix the octaves and you play two keys together and it makes the sound that much more greater than if you just push one, right? So you're doing different things, like, you know, when we were practicing like the songs and you throw it and bring it back with your voice, right? And just from distance and range to depth, like how Darian, like, you know, the depth and the more it's not loud and like it's and it's more felt in the body. Those maybe combinations, you do this and that. It's kind of like you know, when you play
Video games?
yeah, video games, but fight games, you know, you have to Y real quick. But once, you know what I mean, like, and then BY, you know what I mean, and but throwing in that B in there is gonna be different. You're gonna get a little super combo because of that little combination, right? This is the same thing with your mantras, with your sounds and stuff like that. By shifting it a little bit here and there, you are producing sound combinations for, you know, your own super moves, your super life.
It is
Gary, you
meaning.
get no video games today. It's all math. You're not gonna finish. I looked at that kind of.
I only have 124 questions.
Only 121 questions.
It is a made-up thing. It's a psychological process. It has no
Who wants to bet if Darian's gonna cry today?
existential meaning. No word has any existential meaning. Right now, whatever English words we're uttering doesn't mean anything.
Wow. Premiered November 27th, 2020. So this video that I picked is actually made today, 2 years ago. Is that funny?
Mm-hmm.
What is that called? Synchronicity? Luck? Oh, we might have to extend Sunday learning. No.
That's just gonna give you
No.
less time in your homework doing it.
Now I know what we're gonna do for next week. Luck versus synchronicity.
Why are you both staring at me? They both just went.
What?
I smile.
I just did it. I looked at her and then I saw what she's looking at.
I almost had you guys learning about symbolism today and stuff like that, but that's because I was doing my Kabbalah studies this morning, and then I had to recognize, no, my studies does not need, like, so I was trying to, I had to sit for a minute and think what,
Subject.
what subject would be more resonant with our studies that we were doing, and not just drag you guys into, you know, all this that goes on in here.
Get over here.
But I do think that I do want to, we're going to end up covering these things again, but even going into things a little bit more depth, or even doing it, and maybe as a spirit, like participating in them, the mudras, the mantras, and the mandalas, making a mandala, learning 5 mudras, because we at least know 1 or 2, right? So maybe 5 to 7, stuff like that. Mantra, spending this much time doing, you know, mantras, and it would be funny to hear, but we're not going to laugh at each other. I just think of Dory talking in whale.
Oh, I don't
That's it. But okay, we're gonna play. This has like 1 more minute on it. Actually 1 minute and 11 seconds it looks like. So we're gonna play this and then that will be the end. But let's finish off hearing what he has to say. We're not just gonna cut him off.
To the trees.
No.
But
Enough.
if you can actually, these experiments have been done. If you sit here and sing beautifully, I cannot do that. But if you sit here and sing really properly, the tree is full of flower. It could be because of Yaksha. Okay, the rains have aided it, but do not discount the power of the sound. Do not discount the power of the sound. It has influence on everything. Or if you chant a mantra, the tree may respond to it. If you sing music, it may respond to it. If you just generate a thought, it may respond to it. But if you speak, it will not respond. This is true with the tree, this is true with the divine.
And we learned about that in the when we watched the rice experiment, stuff like that, right? What you just said about the tree. Wisdom guided meditation yoga. He's got his own app, Sadhguru app. I like this guy. He's modern and ancient. He exists in the middle. All right, y'all. Did you learn something?
Yeah. I learned I'm always your mantras.
Good. See?
Oh my God. It's kind of like music with beats. Like
It is.
I learned that my back could start hurting after such a little time.
This boy needs exercise. All he does is game. All right, y'all. I'm going to be uploading this to our YouTube channel. Follow us for more
Sunday learning.
Sunday learnings. Bye.
Bye.
No, my hair, Mom.
Yours. Look at me. All right, y'all.